Alright, so for our friends with the flu or corona, whatever, or any of that at home, playing along, today, as I just said, is our final prep day before the Mastery. Mastery starts tomorrow because I will not be here. I heard the same guest teacher from, well, supposedly, the guest teacher that was here yesterday will be the same one here Thursday. He's not going to do anything. He's going to give you a test and then he's going to watch you.
I thought he was sick.
Well, offer him a drink of water or a cough drop. Hey, maybe he is sick and maybe he can't help it. And maybe if you were sick and coughing, I would just say, Meredith, I hope you feel better.
I hope he feels better too, but I feel bad. I didn't want him to choke.
Well, you're sounding somewhat judgmental by going, really? He's coming back today? I didn't like his cough.
No, but maybe he's watching us right now.
So, all of that to say, I have this thought. I have this thought that because I won't be here Thursday, what we could do Friday is before we dive back into the Mastery, y'all could ask me any questions you want based off like, hey, there was this homework question similar to what I saw on the test. Can you do that homework question for me? So when I get back to my test, I know how to do it. So we can do that. So as we said, your work is technically due Thursday, but you don't have to turn it in tomorrow. You can turn it in Friday, especially if you want to hang on to your homework so you can reference back to those problems. Remember, closure problems, answers are in the book or in the ebook, whichever way you want to take to find those. But so Friday, hey, I need you listening so you're not like, wait, I didn't know this was happening. It's a lie you like to say. Friday, we will start class with, okay, what other questions do you have? And then we'll dive in from there. I'm also doing that today as soon as we get done with the posters. So a lot of people come up here with their posters, present real fast, and go from there. So group that was next, what letter is your problem?
B.
B?
Yes.
I am going to go observe some other schools that are doing cool things.
Is somebody else going with you?
Mr. Beck and Miss Lemire, so 8th grade peeps. But yeah, so we do these things called instructional rounds. Don't ask me why. I think the name is somewhat silly because it's named that because we're watching people instruct and we make our rounds by going to different schools. But I still think the name is kind of silly. We're going to be at Bexley Middle School, and then I forget, there's another alternative middle school we're going to. But it's schools doing cool things kind of like us that then we might bring those ideas back and say, hey, can we try this here? So like M-term was an idea that we stole, which you guys haven't seen yet, but that's going to happen in April. Actually, now it's going to be A-term this year. It's where we teach, it's kind of like Friday Creative Option, but all day long. Yeah, so like that, we stole that idea, right? Like that, we got that from another school. So there are lots of cool things that you can steal ideas from other schools. The teacher mantra is beg, borrow, and steal. Like, and I say beg, borrow, and steal, and no apologies. Like, I'm not going to say I'm sorry that I took something of yours and used it in my class because it was good for my kids. So, queen bees, ants, and wasps, or whatever you are, you want to come present? I can give you like some pump up music as you guys come up if you want. No, but too bad the intro is only 3 feet to get up there.
Marker. Okay.
Try it first. Let me see if I need to reset. So hit the pen. Hit color.
Oh, you just.
Or hit the color. Well, you're on calligraphy.
Okay.
Now try to write, just to check if it's working. Okay, perfect. Now you can use highlighter if you want.
Okay, so cool.
Click that. Highlighter. Boom. Alright. Please give your attention and respect. The only thing you should be doing that is not paying attention to them is working on homework if you need to. That's the only other thing you're allowed to do right now. Okay? Ladies.
Hi.
Aria, those pants are pretty sweet. I kind of want a pair.
Yeah, I like them.
A little like sized appropriately for me, but
We're gonna pretend that this hasn't started yet. Okay.
So what did you guys do yesterday?
Yesterday I went to dance.
I went to the rock wall.
For my international.
Nice. Who's excited about International Peace on Friday? Oh, we still do have class. Okay, I got worried for a second. We do have class on Friday. Even though we have International Peace, we do have class.
I'm entertained.
Is that different international piece for you to
So while I'm still vamping for time and they're highlighting and prepping and Meredith is dancing, we will, I don't like causing you guys any anxiety, we will continue your tests on Monday as needed. today, because Friday's a modified schedule. It's a bit shortened, I think. But either way, we'll be taking some questions and stuff. All of that to say, we've been in chapter 5 for so long. If you are feeling confident on your homework and practice, you're good to go. Like the test, I'll even show you the test at the end of class today if you want.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Bees, wasps, and ants all live in colonies that have a queen. The queen of the colony is really the mother of all the insects in the colony. During the spring and summer, many eggs are laid in the bee, wasp, and ant colonies all over the world. Queen bees lay about double the amount of eggs in a day than the queen ants lay. Queen wasps lay about 600 fewer eggs a day than queen ants do. An average queen bee, ant, and wasp together lay about 2,600 eggs a day. How many eggs would each type of queen lay in one day?
And then you guys can reference your poster and talk about what you did on there, but I would switch people probably maybe. Make sure everybody has a role.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay, so we did like QB for like the queen bee, and then it said that it was 2 times the queen ants, so we did 2 times QA, and then for the queen wasps, it said it was queen ants minus 600, and then for QA it's just like QA.
So that everything is referencing the same thing.
Yeah,
Right,
so
very
we had
good.
to find QA.
Now, point of correction here. Not they did something wrong, but what would be better than what they did?
But in QB, QW, and QA, just put BW.
Yeah, just use single variables. So you didn't do anything wrong, but the technically better way is use a single variable. So
Okay.
just B, just W, just A.
Okay.
Perfect. Continue.
We figured out that QA equals 800 by just doing process of elimination, because if QW equals QA minus 600, then it had to be larger than 600. So, so I started at 700, and then that didn't work out, and then 800 worked. So QB equals 2 times 800 equaling 1,600. QW equals 800 minus 600, which equals 200, and then adding them all together will equal 2,600.
Oh, I got momentarily confused. So notice the order of their left squiggly box and their right squiggly box changes.
Oh.
Right? In the right squiggly box, ants, bees, then wasps. In the left one, it's bees, wasps, then ants. Totally fine. I just got confused for a second.
Sorry.
So if you get confused like me, realize they just switched their order a tiny bit. Any question? So you essentially did 5D process. You kind of like guessed some numbers until it worked. Did it take a while, or did you get kind of lucky?
No.
I did it in my first try.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
She's good at it.
All right. Thank you very much. Put your poster on the coffee table, and I will go hang it in a little bit. Gentlemen, I know that you are Group G. Now, Nick and Zach have the advantage. You guys can just leave this up here. They chose the hardest problem that is up here. It uses words I can't even pronounce, and because of that, they got my assistance, and that is why their poster involves writing from me. But no, because they still have to explain everything on their own.
Oh yeah.
So do not anybody have your pouty. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Zach, what are you doing? Now you move my taskbar.
Jeez, Zach.
So don't do stuff on the computer while I'm also doing stuff on the computer. It gets
Can you
confused.
tape it here, this thing?
Zach, seriously, what the heck did you tap up here?
I don't know.
What'd you do, bro? What'd you do? Okay, now you're good.
Don't you put it, can't you put it like down here?
You just cannot touch the screen, but one of you could also just hold it and then trade it off.
Alright.
Oh.
So. Alright. Wait, don't you have a pen? Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So it was
Do you have another
so
dress?
mosquitoes and other biting insects.
No, it's your dress.
Listen.
Mosquitoes and other biting insects can cause a great deal of discomfort.
You don't have to read the whole thing.
Alright.
You can just highlight what's important and tell us that.
What was important?
Oh yeah, I know.
Here, you can copy what you highlighted.
Alright. So it was that.
So palmitic, and guys, this is real. Like I was telling Mr. Estes yesterday, one of the things I like about CPM, this is real. So this is real information from when they were doing a study about mosquitoes, because we think mosquitoes are annoying, but what's the real issue in other countries?
They're deadly.
They're deadly. Like literally, you can get bit by a mosquito and a week later die because that mosquito infected you with something. So them, like those other countries caring about mosquito repellent is a lot bigger of a deal than us spraying some off because I don't want to have the itchies later. Like,
my friend got really sick from a tick in Oregon, and she got like really sick.
Yep, because ticks often have been on an animal before they are on you. So if a tick was on a deer that had some kind of disease and then it gets on you, you have whatever that deer
Can you
had.
get Lyme disease?
My father-in-law got Lyme disease from a tick.
That's what my friend got.
Because he's old school and he's like, it doesn't matter, and then he got Lyme disease.
Alright. Linoleic acid was determined to be the most effective chemical, providing 3 times the protection of stearic acid.
So pause right there. What'd you figure out from that statement?
That P equals S times 3.
Any questions on that? Wonderful. Continue. Bonus points for your main sweatshirt.
There's 10%.
I like Maine.
Oh, and wait.
10%.
And was 10% 10 percentage points higher than linoleic acid.
So here's where this problem got so difficult, guys. So give me your eyes up here. Highlighted in green, they did this perfect because it matches their poster. They told you 2 different things about the same thing. That's why G was the hardest and why I helped them. So go ahead and continue, guys.
The effectiveness percentage is stearic acid, and linoleic acid together were 5 percentage points higher than the palmitic acid.
So that's what we set up like here, the combined, right? Know that I will not be putting a question this difficult on your mastery, but it could be like an exemplary opportunity. This is where this gets so goofy. They add up 2 of the things you've already been like referenced, that they've already talked about, and they give it to you. So we still have like 3 variables. This is all still super complicated. So what did you guys do here? What did you gentlemen do here? What's that S word?
Subtract.
Not subtract.
Substitution.
We substituted. So guys, give me eyes up here if you're not looking. S gets replaced with P divided by 3 because up here, sorry, I'm part of your team now.
Yeah.
Up here we solved for S. So this is a good poster to look at out in the hallway. We took this and we figured out what S equals, quote unquote. We took this and figured out what L equals, quote unquote. Because we don't know what it actually equals, but what it equals. Molly, you with me?
Yes.
You guys are having way too much fun. So then I made a mistake. True confessions.
Our teammates.
True confessions.
Yeah.
My MTV TV show where I'm sitting in the room with the camera, right? I made a massive mistake. I don't know if anyone watches like trash TV where they have a confessional room. No? Okay, moving on. So I goofed up. This is a minus. Look at this, guys. I did not do this on purpose. I am human. I accidentally wrote it as a plus. We got down to here, and Nick and Zach were like, Hudson, you stupid. You did something wrong. No, they didn't. They were as confused as I was because it looked like we hadn't made a mistake because we just missed it. So we went back and fixed it, right? This should have been a minus. We made it a minus, and then we solved out. Sorry, you guys want to jump back in and say what else happened? So what'd you do once you got down here?
Once we realized that the 1/3 of P plus 10 equals 5, we just like, and no, actually minus 5, we just like did, that'll equal 5, so 1/3 times
Make sure
3.
you're talking back.
Yeah, you're always
Then
like all that.
times 3 with the 1/3 of plus 9, which is S, equals 13 times 3, so we realize
And then
P equals 40
yeah.
times 7 divided by 3,
Yeah.
up here.
So
Yeah.
once we have this, what I think Zach is trying to jump in with Nick and say,
Yeah, man.
then we solve
Yeah.
everything else. I would look at this poster in the hallway, not because I helped them do it, but it's a complicated question that later in the year you'll be asked to do things like this, and all you have to think about is what can I do? Well, from here, I could isolate S, I could isolate L. Like, always ask yourself, what can you do? Any questions for Zach and Nick?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I compliment their poster?
Sure.
I enjoy the mosquito on it. Very.
That was this guy.
Yeah.
All this guy.
Oh, that's cute.
It's a mosquito.
I thought it was a tree.
It's actually a pretty good mosquito. You look, he's tall. He looks scary.
It does. I thought it was a.
Yeah, it looks like a palm tree.
I thought it was like a tree.
All right, thank you
Yeah,
very
a
much,
dead tree.
Zach and Nick. Who wants to go next? I think we only have a couple groups. Sarah, come on up. What is your letter? C. Oh yeah, flies. Bzzz. Uh-oh. Sorry, it's trying to correct.
Yeah, your girl.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Like I told you guys, my time was shifted. I don't even have to until... No, because like I told you 2 days ago, my time got shifted over the weekend. I'm still trying to pull it back. Today I need to take it at 10 o'clock.
Also, if he doesn't take his heart pill within the basic time, it's not like he's gonna immediately drop dead. He's gonna
Well,
drop
I
dead
don't
after
know.
2 seconds.
Alright, go ahead, guys. Do you want highlighter or pen? It's a little tough for you to reach, I can guess. So you click this, you click highlighter, and then you click what color you want. So we can start with yellow or whatever you feel like.
Depends on the it's on the leg in the desk. It's right there.
This one?
No, right there. The
Oh, here, you can have this. They're all over the place.
by Sarah's leg.
So while they highlight, either work on your homework or talk amongst yourselves. Guys, by tomorrow, no one should be able to tell me I don't have my homework done because I only see 3 people working on it right now.
We're allowed to work on our homework?
Yeah.
I announced that the only thing you should be doing, aside from listening to your classmates, is working on homework. Because then when I say, hey, look up here, then you can look up and then go back to your homework. I'll be right back while they highlight.
Meredith, give me a calculator. You're short. Wait.
Thank you for being
No,
polite.
it's not super pencil.
No.
I'm done.
No. I'm good.
Pay attention. Go sit down, Meredith.
Meredith, you're not very much intelligent.
Thank you.
Are you guys ready?
Competitive spirit arises.
Guys, I'm pretty sure we all know that of all the people that will like yell at you to be quiet and listen to them, it's not the people that are up here. So let's just be quiet and listen to them because we're polite and respectful.
Yeah.
In one eye, dragonflies have 2,000 more lenses than 7 times the number of lenses that houseflies have in one eye. If one housefly has and one dragonfly together have 34,000 lenses, how many lenses would houseflies have in one eye, and how many would dragonflies have in one eye? Okay, so we can.
You gotta speak up. And you gotta point your mouth towards the audience.
So what we did was we first wrote down our numbers that we knew that dragonflies and houseflies have together.
So you have D equals 7H plus 2,000. And then you have H equals.
H, cause that's the.
Okay, so then what'd you do with that?
Then we did well.
Because you guys did not do 5D process, which I like. What you did is perfect. That's why I want you to explain it to the class so they can understand it. Because you don't have everything written out.
So then we added the house flies and dragon flies all together, so we got 34,000, and then we did minus 2,000.
Now I just want to show what you guys did because I feel like the class is missing out. D plus H equaled what? 34? Yeah. Sorry, this is 34,000. And that's an equals. So guys, give me eyes real quick. Because they did algebra. And this is where we're going towards. So this step, so I'm jumping in to help with your presentation. Point that way though. This step right here, where they subtracted the 2,000, that happened after they put those things together. So really what they're looking at is D is 7H and 2,000. And H is H, so they get 8H and 2,000. Does anyone have questions for them on how they got 8H and 2,000? Because they have their 7H and 2,000, and then they have their H. They put them together. Why'd you subtract 2,000? Any of you guys? Yeah, it's like extra, right? We don't want the 2,000. We want the H. This is extra, so get rid of it. So we get rid of 2,000 here. What is 34,000? Get rid of 2,000. 32,000. So 8H, they find out, is 32,000. They have it written there. They just don't have the 8H written. But then they have shown they divided by 8. Why'd you guys divide by 8? Because it was 8H, and we just want 1. So they divided by 8 and got 4,000. Can you see that from their poster? They skipped some steps. They didn't write everything out, but they did it perfectly. Any other questions for them? They did algebra. This is what I was hoping for. Like, the 5D process is fine, but the algebra is cleaner. You guys did awesome. Anything else you guys want to add? So then, because she had housefly as 4,000, yeah, we can just solve it as, okay, so if there's 34,000 total, take away the 4,000 for the housefly, and you get 30,000. Or you can substitute your H into where they had 7H plus 2,000. They could substitute in there and get their answer. Anything else for either of you guys? Alright, sorry to jump in. You guys are a little quiet, and I wanted to make sure these guys understood what you obviously understand. So thank you very much. Who is left? Eric, do you not have a partner today?
Yeah, Toby's a no-show.
I think you can probably perform enough for all of us, can't you?
Okay, yes.
What letter is yours, Toby?
D.
Or Eric, sorry. I was thinking about Toby not being
wow.
here. Look, I was about to say, I'll be Toby if you need to be. Sorry, what's your letter?
D. Okay, so basically I'm gonna try my best on this. It's not the greatest poster in the world, and I'm not the greatest at math, but I'm gonna try.
Is it the greatest song in the world?
It's not a song, so.
Never mind, you don't know what I'm referencing.
Not really, no.
You're gonna need to. I'm gonna need to show you that later.
Is it like from a movie or something?
Do you know Jack Black?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know the band Tenacious D?
I think so.
It's most of their music is inappropriate because they swear, but there is a song called Tribute that is like a ballad. It's actually a great example of a ballad. But it's talking about this song is a tribute to the best song in the world. It's not at all the best song in the world, but it's a tribute to that song. So that's what I was joking about. Alright, do you want to highlight anything or just dive in? I can hold your poster.
Hold this so I can look at it. Where's the thing?
Right there by the
Yes.
Or you can
Then
leave
hit
that.
highlight.
Mr. Hudson,
Or you can use
Right
it.
there.
can you please tell Rico that he's not that much taller than me? Because
Who's Rico?
Nicholas.
He
Nick?
thinks I'm the shortest person.
We'll decide this later.
Wait, you don't know that you didn't know that that's Rico?
Could I see
Yeah, I'm
this?
like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, you're like so tall.
Oh yeah, so they're like hiding down there.
They've been there the whole time.
Well, yeah, but they weren't in plain sight. They were slightly out of sight. You're sitting and looking that way. Of course you saw it.
Mr. Hudson,
And then,
you didn't know that that's Rico?
Yeah, but I like to. I mean, that's not his real name.
No, it's not.
That's who.
everybody calls him that for reasons I
I
cannot
never call
understand.
him that.
I don't even call him
Is
Rico.
he Rico Suave?
Yes.
Do you know what suavemente means?
It means like cool or like hot, right? Isn't it that song?
If you're gonna let people call you it, you should probably know what it means.
Yeah, Miss
Okay.
Suavemente. Yes, it is a song. You are right.
Miss Pettigrew said it. It originally
Wait,
was
she's
just
the one who called him Nick or Rico to start?
Yeah.
No,
I figured that
it
came
was
from
Alexis
6th grade.
first. She called me Rico
Are you
from
ready?
Hannah,
Yeah,
Montana.
Yeah.
All right, Eric's ready. Let's
Okay.
dive in.
So basically, this guy John, he wants to get worms for reasons that are beyond me. So he knows that he has 200 more worms. So he has
12.
1,200. Sorry, more worms than twice as. Bleh, sorry, I'm gonna try again. So he's buying from these two stores, Worm Heaven and Wiggles R Us. I didn't name them. He did.
What?
I guess. So he knows that he ordered 1,200 more than twice as many worms from Worm Heaven as he did from the other place. And he also knows that he has a total of 18,000 worms. Alright, so basically, what we did was we took like H as like Worm Heaven and R for Wiggles R Us. And so basically we deduced that Worm Heaven is 2R Heaven. Bleh, Heaven. And plus the 1,200 and that R just equals R because why not? It's simple. So basically you take the two R's and you add them together and that's 3R. So then you take that and plus this, and in theory, that's gonna get you to this. So basically,
Pause. Anyone have questions with how Eric got where he is right now? Because he's also gonna do the algebra.
yeah.
Oh, so if it's 2R and like the top one, where'd the extra R come from? Okay.
Putting together the H and R. So the step he skipped right here is what you could write right here is H plus R equals 18,000. Then you substitute and get this.
Okay. So basically, then what we did is we decided to take a step back for a minute and like so basically, what is this minus? Let's see,
1,200.
minus this.
Because again, that's like your extra that we don't want to care about.
Which equals that, right? And so we took that and then we looked. I think we looked at the 3R's, so we divided it by 3, and then we got 5,600. And I believe that is the answer.
There you go.
Okay.
That's your R, and then we can plug in what we get for our R, and you can substitute it. Do you guys do that anywhere?
I don't know. I think
That is the one thing you did not do. So once we figure out what R is of the 15,600, or 5,600, we can plug that in to 2R plus 1,200 and solve.
Okay.
Any preguntas? Question.
La calculadora.
Eric, any other thoughts or statements? Anything you'd like to sing for us?
I don't know. Like basically, yeah, I can do this by myself, Toby. I don't need you. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Alright, if anyone is totally done with their homework and would like to come help me put posters up in the hallway, I will take your assistance if you would like.
Well, that makes sense.
So,
Are you gonna go look at the Spanish list?
and then I will grab these.
And
And then, hey, do your work, because remember, I'm still recording and creepily you could go back and like watch who was on task and who wasn't.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, well,
Scary.
it's like having a clone of me watching you guys at all times.
my list is better.
Hey, are my helpers coming?
See, with my pet, I saw a pet from my like,
What? She won't tell me. Please, can you tell me?
She took my pencil.
Can you guys work it out on your own, or do we need to go to the death match cage?
What?
Can you tell me to just stop calling me short?
I'm done with my work and I don't know what to do.
Literally, you're the same height.
Can you give me a math problem that I can solve?
Oh, I could show you the test for tomorrow, I guess.
Wait, can we turn this thing into the turning bin?
Oh, yes. Actually, no. I think everyone in here did a really good job, and you guys all worked well together. You can just hang on to those work pages. Hey, don't be mad. Your question could end up on the test, and you might want that in your binder as a reference.
Are we allowed to use our notes?
I don't know. You'll find out when the test happens.
I thought you were the teacher.
I'm not the teacher.
You're not the teacher?
There's a mouse inside. I'm a robot, man. There's a mouse inside of me that controls my movement.
Wait a minute. Mr. Hudson is actually on the show. Oh my god.
If I say the show Pinky and the Brain, does anyone even know what I'm talking about? Okay. Oh no, system downtime.
Oh yeah.
What? So by the way, if you try to get on CPM, whoa.
Yay!
Oh, it's early in the morning though.
Thank
February
God.
on today, 3 to 4 a.m., 6 to 7 a.m. Not a big deal, but just be aware. If you try to get on CPM and it doesn't work, that's
Will
probably why.
CPM homework work?
That's a different site, so yes, it should work. Dude, I get on CPM at 6 in the morning. I'm here at like 6:30 some days.
How do you get ready?
Wait,
Watch
wait,
out.
wait, wait, okay, I got just like
All right, you guys want to see this?
Honestly, I don't want to do anything about chicken fingers.
Depends on the night.
No, milkshake. Cheese fries.
You really like that song, Hudson.
It's just stuck in my head. I'm sorry.
You should chew gum.
Five looks like ass.
I'm not this far.
So, Mr. Smith said the trick for getting a song out of your head is to get a different song to replace it, but not a song that's long enough to be catchy. So like a jingle song. So,
Stanley Singers, your home cleaner.
yeah, it gets your carpet cleaner. But yeah, something like that will flush out.
Now that's gonna get stuck in my
Like Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Just need to listen to
And then
everything.
dance monkey will get out of your head.
Straighten that and we'll be fine.
Alright, so be quiet, listen to Dance Monkey, look at your test. Nobody's mouth should be open, or I don't care when you complain about I didn't know that was going to be on the test. Number 1, the split up lines like you've been used to. Notice I give you the total here. Percent's always on bottom. I'm going to go slow enough that you can read, but if you're dancing and not paying attention, that's up to you. Molly. I don't want to have to pause this. But... I haven't even heard this version yet. This is pretty, I like it. Her voice is just like really just like nice. Alright, I need to pause this or I'm going to be distracted. I'll put it back on in a minute. So 4, please don't discuss these right now because I'll know when people have the exact same answers. But think about what does a probability of 1 actually mean and what percent would that be? A probability of 0 or a theoretical probability of 1/2. Remember, that's in theory, what we think.
What is it out of?
I'm confused.
If you don't know this, study it tonight. When we first started talking about probability, we discussed when something cannot happen, its probability is this. when something will for sure happen. Its probability is this. So if you don't remember this, go back and look at your notes on it.
Isn't it out of
This, well, if we talk percents, this is where you are being asked to calculate the percent. Now, I do not promise this is exactly what your test is. This is last year's test. I still am, normally go back and modify things. I liked this test, though. I think it did pretty well. So if you tip that much money and your bill was this, what percent did you tip? And if we think about the 10% rule, what's 10% of 40? 4, because we divide by 10, right? So you know it's more than 10%.
Yeah.
So that's a nice baseline for you to start from. Another probability question, just talking about when you flip a coin, which you guys know the probability. So if I were to ask you a question about probability, what is the probability you get a head when you flip a coin?
50%.
What is that as a fraction?
1/2.
Part C. Make a table, tree diagram, or a list to show different ways a penny, nickel, and dime could land. Guys, always on the masteries, if you want to use colors, do it. So you could highlight penny in a color, and in a table or a tree diagram, talk about the penny. Or, if you use a tree diagram, your first branch could be like flipping the penny. Then the next branch is flipping the nickel, and the next branch is flipping the dime.
So we can make a table or a tree?
Whatever you think works. Or you could even make a list, right? Like, you could list out, I get a heads, a heads, and a tails. I get a heads, a heads, and a heads. I get a heads, a tails, and a heads. Like, you could list all the options. I don't think it's the best idea. Sandwiches. Yeah, sandwiches. Could be made of white or wheat bread, turkey, roast beef, tuna fish, or cheese. Hey guys, if this is still split like this tomorrow, tuna fish is one thing. I had some people confused last year that tuna was up here on one line and fish was, there's no comma.
It's just tuna.
Tuna fish is one thing. Because, like, you can get a tuna, well, I don't know if this is because, but you can get a tuna steak also, and that's different.
What is that?
It's like
It's like a piece of
solid tuna. Yeah, it's like a solid piece, as opposed to like tuna that's been like ground up.
Like tuna salad.
Yeah, it's if you go to like sushi restaurants or whatever, sometimes they have tuna steaks.
They'll have like
7, I talk about a bag of marbles, blue, yellow, and green.
Oh yeah, we could.
What's the probability of getting blue or green if the probability of yellow was this much? If, guys, on 7, A, B, and C are all different questions. Sorry, I said that backwards. A, B, and C are all related to the same bag. I meant to say they're not, like they relate to each other. They're not separate. They're both referencing this. All of these go together. Mario's got a couple spinners. Draw and label them. Right, the information for the spinners is up here. What is the probability of getting white and van? What is the probability of getting a blue sedan? Or, remember that or makes things easier. Or adds stuff. It increases your probability. A 5D process, which I might clean up that picture because that's gross. Or I might just take out the picture and have you guys set up the 5D. But we've done enough with this. You guys should be good. So, hey, true anticipation. Anticipate this will be gone. Okay. Anticipate I'm not giving you that this year because we've done more with the 5D this year than in any other year. And you don't have to use the 5D process. You could do algebra. So last year I realized when I say use the 5D, people are like, do I have to? I don't even want you to. I'd rather you do algebra. It's better. Tilly and Lily earned $510 together. That's the information you would need to know to figure out the answer. Tanisha, Alicia, and Ajua are cousins. Another algebraic or 5D process. So assume I'm going to delete this part. And you can use the 5D or you don't have to. More order of operations. Because you're going to see those all year. Notice that I have an order of operations poster even on the chalkboard now. So if you get at all confused, this will be here during the test. I was going to write live by the order or die by the order, but I thought that was a bit too intense. So just live by the order.
Or die by the order.
But like like the Jedi live by the Jedi code, and like we live by the order of operations, right? Because mathematicians live by the order. Yes.
It's February, right?
February.
In your calendar.
Oh, he's a cute puppy, and February's a cat, and I don't. It's not that I don't like cats. I mean, come on. Which is cuter, this cat staring at you like he's like looking through your soul, or this puppy? The puppy's cuter. So.
Molly has got my pencil.
Sorry, but we'll switch it to the cat because it's February. All right, get out of here, guys. It's time to go. Get out of here. Yes.
The order of operations are the Jedi, then who's the Sith?
Not doing the order of operations.
Well, so if we're trying to like relate it in true analogy form, the Sith is like, would we be able to say the Sith is the opposite of the Jedi, or how would we relate
The
them,
Sith
like
is like
mathematically?
the contrast of the Jedi, so they're basically like the opposite, I guess.
Then solving equations, which uses the order of operations backwards, it literally goes in the inverse order, it goes up instead of going down. So you could say algebra to solve equations is the Sith, compared to the order of operations is the Jedi. And of course, can't continue walking past my room because he hears Jedi speak.
I'm excited. Have you seen the new? Are we going to?
New what?
New Star Wars movie?
Which? Oh no, not Rise of Skywalker. I've watched all of Mandalorian though.
Yeah, but Rise of the Skywalker.
I need to go see it. I've been too busy lately.
So wait, are we going to ELA?
What would you normally go to? I don't want to get this wrong. Go to ELA.
Wait, what?
Science and ELA are flipping places. Science and ELA are flipping places.